Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we figure out how to build and run a SaaS. I'm Benedikt.
And I'm Brian. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we work on our products and keep the lights on by trying new things. Today is October 13th, and I am feeling well rested.
This is episode number 62, and I'm back to work.
Back to work.
Yeah.
How was the vacation, man?
I think it was the worst vacation of all times.
Oh man. Okay.
It's a couple of days away from home, doing some hiking and stuff like that. That was nice. Like the actual vacation part was nice, but it got a little bit chopped up by other stuff. And I touched on this a little bit in the last episode I was on, with the band website thing that ate away a lot of like the first part of the vacation before actually leaving. And literally the day I got back, like we got back in the morning, and in the afternoon I was already working on that website again. And it was a lot of work, like two intense days to make the deadline. And it's live by now, but it was a struggle. So that didn't really help with all the relaxation I got in my actual time away was basically destroyed within 3 days.
Yeah. What's the short term and medium term plan for that?
Well, the short term, like now that it's done, it's not like there's not much else I need to do. There's some small fixes that I'll probably do this week, but this was the majority of the work. Now it's probably good for the next year or two until they release something else.
Yeah.
And I'll have to really think hard about if I want to do this again. I have a feeling that it's not worth my time and energy.
Yeah.
At least not in this setup. Maybe I can ask a designer to not provide Photoshop files. But like instead do it in Sketch or whatever, right? Because I feel like that aligns so much better with what a browser can do and what you can do in Photoshop are two different things.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, in a way, I like the challenge of like still making it work, but like that's no fun on a tight schedule and with a looming deadline. So yeah, I was cursing a lot.
Sorry. Sorry, man. Is there?
Yeah.
I mean, what part of you is like, I need to offload this right now, like before a year comes up, before they need any other changes. I mean, completely handing the account and the whole thing off.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense now that it's done. Like it's basically smooth sailing until the next major redesign, because like now they're just entering data and managing the website, so that's not a big problem.
And this is hosted on your CMS, or
this is hosted on my CMS.
Is there any part of you that would be open to selling your CMS to somebody like in MegaMaker or anywhere else?
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I don't think they'd be paying enough to to make this work out. I just let it run, and the next time they want to redesign, as I said, like I think I will think really long and hard about it. And right now, I'm leaning towards telling them, I can't do this anymore. Please look for someone else, and they will probably also bring their own WordPress or whatever, and build something else somewhere else without me.
Yeah. That makes see that. I'm like, I think how many bands are you hosting on your CMS right now?
Right now it's 4, but only 3 are paying.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So you feel like there's not enough there to sell.
No, like it's making money, but it's basically paying for servers and stuff like
Okay,
that.
gotcha. Okay.
So, and honestly, yeah, I could probably spend some time to move it to cheaper infrastructure. Right now, it's on Fastly and Heroku, which are both great services, but also not super cheap.
Yep.
But then again, like, yeah, there's
Yeah,
the MRR isn't big enough to make meaningful profits, even if I host it for free. So it just keeps running.
Okay, cool. What else?
Yeah, so the vacation itself, as I said, was nice. We did a lot of hiking. The weather was like the first 2 days were rainy. Like I think we spent the entire first day at home watching TV. Luckily, there was a 24-hour race at Nürburgring that weekend, so turn on the TV and just watch cars going around in a big circle. Nice. Yeah. But like, yeah, it was really pouring down that day. But the other days, we did a lot of hiking, which was nice. Interestingly, like there were a lot of people around, which in retrospect, I mean, yeah, like a lot of people who usually travel outside of Germany for vacation are now traveling there, including us. Yeah. So it was pretty crowded. And what really surprised me was that nobody was wearing masks.
Oh, really?
I mean, I kind of get it. Like when you're out in the woods and you're alone, then of course, it's kind of stupid. But like outdoors. in the hotspots, like where like the landmarks are, and everyone's coming there and like walking narrow, on narrow paths or that bridge and stuff like that. Nobody was wearing masks. And yes, it's outside, and yes, it was windy, so that like chances are low,
relatively low risk.
Relatively low risk, but
a little bit.
Then again, I mean, there are people from everywhere, like from all parts of Germany as well as several parts of Europe, just going there, meeting in one place. Like the likelihood to meet someone who's currently having it without knowing are relatively high, I guess. So that was a little bit surprising, but I mean, so far I'm not sick. I don't feel I don't feel the need to get tested, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, I mean it's outdoors. The wind is blowing. It's low. It's low risk, but still, I mean, when you're in a crowded spot, you might as well take a very simple safety precaution.
Yeah, and that's exactly the thing. Like it's super simple. Like it doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost a lot. Just put that thing on, and you're good.
Yeah.
So that part was nice. We had our 10-year anniversary during that time, which was also nice.
Congrats!
Thank you. I had a nice day and had a nice dinner, and then I had a nice surprise because user list was down that night. So we were out in doing some hiking. Early this morning, I got a notification that something like some queues were backed up, and usually that notification pops up from time to time, and usually within like 10 or so minutes, the second notification comes in where it's like, yeah, everything's fine. But what I didn't realize that morning was the second notification never arrived because I was out in the woods. So there was all our queues were basically backing up the entire day until that point late in the evening, like 11 p.m. or so, where I suddenly get a notification that the Redis database server is out of memory. And I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
So open up the computer and then realize that our queues were like really backed up. And stuff were basically like, you sent data in, it took like 3 hours for the servers to process it and stuff like that. So I spent the rest of that night trying to fix that and just like scaling up servers so they could process that data and then figure out what's going on and where's the data coming from. Basically optimizing stuff. And I think I went to bed at 4 a.m. or something like that when things were like I mean, it was still happening. Like it was still a little bit of a problem, but at least it wasn't backing up that much anymore. So we were able to like process all the incoming data in like 30 minutes or so. And next day I also found out what was causing it, because I at the, like that night I had no clue what was going on, because I definitely didn't change anything. And the last deploy was like 10 days ago or something like that. So I was pretty sure it wasn't something I broke. But it turned out one of our customers improved the way they sent their data and made it much more efficient on their side. So instead of sending, I think they sent like 5,000 or so data sets. Instead of sending them over 30 minutes or so or an hour, they send it within minutes. And that just screwed everything up. And I don't blame them. It's totally fine. We don't have rate limits right now. In a way, especially for this reason, because I wanted to know where and how the system will break. Now I know.
Now you know.
Honestly, it took me until this week. Like I spent some time yesterday on this and some time today to actually figure out a solution. And it looks like I might be onto something, but I'm also asking them to rate limit themselves a little bit and not send us that much data in a short period of time. Because I looked at competitors and even they don't support the rate that we are accepting data right now. So I figure it would be okay to ask them to scale it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Well, so real quick on that, is it that did you lose any data at all? Like any data that any userless customer was sending up was just in a really long queue, or do you think that you may have lost some actions?
I'm pretty sure we didn't lose much, because like until the point where the database started failing, we were just accepting everything and storing it in the database.
Yes. Right.
And like one of the first things I did was just upgrade the database to the next tier, so there's a little more room in there. And at that point, like I mean, maybe it was down for like 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. Where it wasn't accepting data because it was literally broken. But after that, we continued processing data, and but like things were slow on that day.
Yeah,
and they are like until earlier today, things could take up to 15 minutes for the data to be processed, which is okay for most things. But like one of our other customers was complaining they were sending an event in and expecting an in-app message to pop up shortly afterwards, and that didn't happen. So that was a problem. But it looks like by now I was able to move things around and like process some queues in a different way and break out additional workers and stuff like that. So now at least the critical stuff is processed much, much faster. And then the stuff that I know is slow and takes some time, like reevaluating all the segments for updated users. That part is still slow, but I mean, there's only so much I can do about it. And I guess in that case, it's fair to not be like super real time, because there's basically no guarantee about once the user matches a condition, like how long does it take for them to actually join that segment. Sure, as fast as possible, but yeah, I guess 5 or 10 minutes is probably fine in that case.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun times.
Man, dude, that's brutal.
Yeah, that wasn't. But I mean, I said it before. Like something will probably happen, and of course it did. Just wish it wouldn't be on our anniversary. But yeah, so
do you feel like, I mean, you said there are still a couple of things that are a little bit slow, but I mean, do you feel like it's pretty much for now solved, or are you going to continue to work on it this week? Or
I work on it a little bit more this week. I'm thinking about like just adding rate limiting now to the API to make sure that like at least on a per customer basis things don't go out of hand.
Yeah.
So that's something I look into, and I have a suspicion that once that is in place, like everything else will just like not be as bursty anymore and not have spikes anymore, and that will probably also help with the slow queue, because then it doesn't fill up that fast, so it overall is smoother. Like the curve is way smoother, and things get processed faster. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll definitely spend some more days on this this week just to make sure it's good enough of a fix for at least a while.
Yeah. Sorry about the timing on that, dude.
Yeah, nothing I could do about that.
Well, what else is happening over in userless land?
Yeah, Jane was super busy over the last couple of weeks. She was handling basically everything while I was away, like all the customer support or most of the customer support, and still working on the marketing stuff. She did one of our happy hours alone without me. So she's really putting in the work while I was away. And one of the things she launched today actually was the user onboarding guide we wrote for SEO purposes. And I think we're going to link to it. Well, for one, to show everyone the guide, but also to get a backlink. And so that's done, or mostly done, at least for now. I mean, still room for improvement as always, but yeah. She's also been working on a podcast, specifically. Well, one of the suggestions by Asia was to make us more of recognized experts in the field, especially like for now the focus is on make us be recognized as onboarding experts. And one of her ideas was to do a podcast on the topic. But we felt like userlist is more than just onboarding, so we didn't want to do a show that's just about onboarding. But we are now launching a show that's in seasons, and the first season will be about onboarding. And Jane's been super busy recording interviews with experts of the on the topic. I think there's like 8 or 9 episodes planned, and I think most of them are recorded. And we got a VA, actually the VA she's been using for her own podcast for a while, and brought her on the userless team, so to say. And she's writing recaps, and I think we're doing transcriptions and stuff like that. And we got a really nice logo and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. It will be, I think it will be another 2 weeks or so before we launch it. But yeah, that's an exciting thing.
That's a really smart way to do that too. To do a season that's super focused on a particular topic, and be able to take some time off probably between till the next season. You know, maybe not, but it feels like that's a much more that's a lower risk way for userless to say, yes, let's do this thing, and you're not signing yourself up for just this infinite, perpetual, week after week after week of, okay, what topic are we going to talk about now? Who are we going to get? Like, well, no, we'll do 8 episodes on onboarding. We'll do 8 episodes on effective emails. We'll do 8 episodes on, so and so.
Yeah, that was the idea. We're super careful, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't do the podcast or a podcast before. Is we didn't want to like just create additional work for each of us, especially as Jane has the UI Breakfast podcast. We are doing this one, so it's not like we're not already recording an episode per week, and just like adding on top of that is probably not a good idea. And at least this way, it's like a focused sprint, I guess, of putting out content, and then should be
sure.
good.
What's it called?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share that yet.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
Or maybe I think she tweeted about it. It's called Better Done Than Perfect.
Yes, okay, that sounds familiar. So I think she did tweet
Yeah,
it.
and I think she also tweeted the logo. She got someone on Fiverr to do some hand lettering, and looks really nice. And
Cool.
probably will make for some nice T-shirts and mugs and whatever.
Yeah.
So this will be exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to hear all that.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know once it's launched. On the other hand, Asia's gig with us, the 3-month gig, wrapped up last week. And in retrospect, like, it was worth it. Like, it was super expensive, but I think it was worth it because it put us in a different, like, in a higher gear in terms of our marketing efforts.
Nice. Yeah.
Her guidance was helpful, and also just having her on asking for stuff like, I need a landing page, I need this, I need that.
Yeah, some accountability to
Really,
keep those things moving.
yeah, put some pressure on us to quickly deliver on those things that otherwise might have fallen off at some point, or, well, get neglected. And this allowed us to really build up a good framework, especially on the website, where Jane's now able to crank out landing pages super fast and stuff like that. Ada did a lot of interviews. I think I mentioned that previously. So we learned a lot of things about what people like about the product, who is our perfect customer, or at least right now is the best fit, and stuff like that. She also set up a lot of paid advertising. The results on that are, well, in terms of traffic, it's okay. We definitely increased traffic. In terms of signups and trials, not super exciting, to be honest. Okay. So we only got a handful.
Were those on you were advertising on Facebook as well?
Yeah,
right?
we did Facebook retargeting, as well as Facebook lookalike audiences, and Google search ads.
Anything on LinkedIn?
We didn't do LinkedIn, at least not yet. The thing we're trying out right now, in the process of trying out, is Capterra. So we now have a profile on Capterra, and we're probably starting a paid campaign on there in the next couple of days, I guess. I think the only thing blocking us is like getting a landing page up and the tracking pixel into into the sign up flow. But then we are going to give this a try. As I said,
I talked to Capterra for Headlamp, and I remember it being somewhat spendy. It's kind of expensive.
Yeah, like, I think the minimum bid is like $2 on their thing. Okay. But that basically, like, yeah, you're way down in the list.
You'd be at like number 80.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, when you want to be number one, then it gets really expensive. But apparently, at least they say, and that's also what Asia said, is like their conversion rate is above average. So even though it's more expensive, people are more likely to convert.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're just guessing at this point and giving it a try and see, like,
give it a try.
Maybe this works. If it doesn't work, we can always turn it off.
Yeah.
But if it works as advertised, then it would be nice. But yeah. But as I said, like, trials weren't great, and also we had a call with Einar last week about our metrics in general. And he's not happy with our metrics, and we are not happy with our metrics because it's not growing fast enough.
Got it.
And his thesis was that we have an activation problem, because of our churn. Like, most of the churn is either like after a month or two, and it's mostly people who are not activated. They don't get value from the product, or not sending enough stuff, or not sending emails or whatever. So we are looking into ways to work on that next. And yeah, we're still trying to figure out what to do. But one of the ideas he had was like do some concierge setup thing where we basically get on calls with people and well, do everything for them, jump into the code, write their onboarding messages and stuff like that. So we're going to give this a try, not exactly to get a lot of customers from that, because I think it doesn't scale well enough for that, but to learn what problems people have and where are the pitfalls and what makes the integration hard and stuff like that. Basically experience it firsthand and then use that learning to improve either our documentation or build more libraries, stuff like that, and hopefully improve activation that way. Or maybe we find out something else that we didn't think about yet. What's stopping people from getting used from this?
Yeah. I feel like we've talked about that here, and you guys you have an existing email that goes out and says, let us know, let us get on that. So what's going to be different this time to make the
we have an email like that in the sign up flow or in the onboarding flow, but nobody really takes us up on that. So the current idea is we are going to do a paid advertising campaign for a fixed price setup gig that we'll drive traffic to and then see if people take us up on that. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it doesn't work, but if it does, it's probably a good way to learn a little bit about
what the surely. Hopefully some people will take you up on it and you learn some stuff.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, probably doing that next week. Still have to figure out a few things. For example, like probably doing Stripe checkout for the initial setup fee or something like that. And build a landing page and stuff like that. Yeah, that's basically what's going on right now. Lots of stuff.
Yeah. Got a lot of plates spinning over there.
Yeah, definitely way too much.
Well,
what's up with you? I listened to 2 exciting episodes of the podcast without me, so that was nice. Good job on that.
Thanks. No, those are two fun episodes with Justin and Richard. It was good to finally have Richard's voice here. I mentioned him a fair amount. That was a really helpful conversation. I think just kind of thinking through, where does Headlamp stand right now? What are the kind of underlying problems and possible places that I can take it? And while I'm thinking through all that stuff, so I think some semi interesting, exciting news here for me is on a recent episode of Full Stack Radio, Jack McDade and Adam Wathan were talking about, I wish that there were a friendly, trademark defense service. So somebody spends up, tailwindtemplates.com or whatever, and Adam has to track them down. And it's super annoying because it's somebody in the community, and you don't want to, he doesn't want to come across as rude, and also just doesn't want to have to deal with it. Similar thing for Jack with Statamic. Somebody spins up, statamicdesignshop.com. You're like, hey, you can't do that. It makes it look like it's our design shop. And so Jack, tweeted something about, I had listened to bits of that, and then Jack tweeted something, like, hey, I've got this idea. If you're interested, hit me up. So I did, and we had a handful of conversations kind of back and forth. What would it look like? What would you kind of want out of it, Jack? Here's where I am at. I've got, client work, and I've got this product that I'm working on. But I definitely feel like I need another experiment or two. to see what's gonna stick. So we bounced a couple things back and forth just in terms of conversation. He threw a design over my way. And so you can go to brandpatrol.co. And the basic idea is for businesses like Tailwind and Statamic, and hopefully Laravel, Vue.js, etc. People who need to defend their trademark. This is a white glove service where a company can sign up. When you see something show up that infringes upon your trademark, fill out a ticket. You'll get X number per month, probably something between 3 and 5. And Brand Patrol will completely handle all of the communication, working with them to rename or take down the product. And so feels like there's I can just already see so many ways to like productize the service part of it. Why still make it like white glove, sense of like high touch, not some shady just DMCA takedown service. Those exist, but that's just like beat you over the head with legalese and threats and things, and so this is like approaching a similar problem, just up market a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's I'll got a couple of emails going with potential first customers at $500 a month. And yeah, we'll see what sort of early traction I can pick up on this thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is it are you going to do this as a basically manual service to get started?
At first, yeah. So Jack and Adam are just sending me like bunch of examples of different emails, conversations, threads. This is what's worked. This is what doesn't work. Here's some, and I'll build swipe files out of all of those. Write some additional emails myself, obviously, and just try to build up a library to make that back and forth as low friction on the service side as possible. So that's what.
And
yeah.
The price is validated with at least the two of them.
With the two of them, yeah, we're like, we'll be your first customers. So that gosh, it just feels like we'll see what sort of traction it gets, but there's the $500 a month. It's pretty easy to imagine the $149 and the $999 versions of it. So we'll start here, see if we can build it up to a couple thousand, and then see where it lands. But I mentioned this in the episode with Richard. I'm definitely feeling the tension between knowing that I need to try a lot of things to find what's going to stick, and not having enough time and resources to try everything that's in my mind, and to give every idea a fair chance to succeed.
Yeah, that's something that I struggle a lot with as well. Like, I admire those people who are able to just like launch a different thing every other month or something like that. Because I'm not built that way. I can only focus on one thing at a time, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, sounds like you have at least two. If you have at least two paying customers, then it's a lot more MRR than Headlamp has right now. So
by a lot, yeah.
So it sounds like a good place to start. And I think I know at least one other person that might be might be interested in becoming a customer.
Well, please make an intro. I think there's also a part of this that it feels like a smarter, Rob Walling stair step thing. Like it feels like this is a better step to find a high price point service that I can then productize. It's going to be a lot easier to get to 5,000 MRR if the price at 500 a month is validated. If it doesn't take 40 hours a week per customer, which I don't think it will. I mean, it'll take a lot early on, which I'm completely okay with. It just, it has those, characteristics about it that seems like if I'm going to build something that is sustainable, allows me to wind down client work even more, it's probably something at a 500 price point and not, $8, $9 a seat. That's a long road.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I'm already thinking about ways to continue this, and what you could do or couldn't do or whatever. So yeah, I'm excited for you. New thing.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I am very excited to work on it. My truly, like the only hesitation on it is, oh gosh, am I splitting too much of my focus? But I just really, I don't think it's a bad decision. I think it's okay. Yeah. Headlamp is definitely not, taking off by any stretch of the imagination. It's not dead. There's no reason to kill it. There's no reason to, do anything to it other than, okay, buddy, we're going to sit you over here for just a second. I'm going to work on this other thing. Let's see how this goes. Like that I should actually be doing more of that, I think, not less. So
yeah,
given the stage I'm at here.
Yeah. The only thing I'm wondering with brand patrol is, I mean, two people who are interested in buying this, and
yep,
I have an idea for one more maybe. But who else is a potential customer?
Yeah. So the first, Jack and Adam are going to make a couple of intros to other people that they think would be interested in it. And so we'll see, how much traction just word of mouth gets, for not word of mouth, but referrals. The thing that I was thinking, I'm curious what you think, is to get a builtwith.com subscription and go to find frameworks, JS libraries, and kind of go through that to find, those companies, those companies that are still probably less than 20 employees, but they're a legit company now, with a community, a developer community that is building spin-off tools from their successful library. That's my customer. That's my customer.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm wondering. It sounds like SEO or something like that probably doesn't work for this, but
no,
cold outreach might work.
Yep. Cold outreach at $500 per account, I think I can work at that scale.
Yeah, at least, especially if it's per month. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, you probably like to get started. You don't need anything but a spreadsheet, nope. I guess.
Yeah,
a spreadsheet, and if you want to get advanced, you get blue tick or something like that for like the automated campaigns.
Nope, I've got the Stripe checkout is all ready to go. Send me an email, send a couple emails back and forth. Send the customer the link. They go fill out their credit card info, and we're off and running. And I'll use an Airtable base to manage it for now, and then eventually build a client dashboard so that they can watch status. But for now, don't need any of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get tested and going.
And probably down the road, you can probably do like something that just finds those infringements and sends them an email of, hey, here's what we found last week. Please tell us which of them to hunt down.
Which of these do you want? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, new thing to try. See how it goes.
That's what's happening with me. I'll let you know how it goes. We were Friday and Monday. We were in Arches National Park, out in Utah, and so I spent a fair amount of time in my hammock thinking about this, and yeah, there's no shortage of ideas for me on what this could be and how it could be both high service, like upmarket service, and an automated thing that doesn't take gobs and gobs of time for me to run. So it feels like an exciting experiment to try.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes. Keep us posted, I guess.
I will. Send me that intro, or let's talk offline here in just a second. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right. That's it for me. Anything else?
No, that's it from me as well.
Dude, great talking again.
Yeah, good to be back.
All right.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.